welcome to Parenting to Win. I'm your host, Clarinda McGrady. If you're new to this site, parentingtowin.com is your one-stop shop for all your parenting needs. Here, you'll find helpful tips and expert advice for all parents, no matter if you have kids in diapers or kids in dorms. Today, we'll be speaking with internet safety expert James Rice. James will be discussing with us the different concerns that parents are having regarding internet safety with your children. So stick around, you don't want to miss this. Today's guest is internet safety expert James Rice. Today, James will be sharing with us some of the current day concerns that we're facing with online predators and different internet safety cautions. Thank you, James, for being a part of our show today.
Thank you.
So, James, if you can just sort of bring us up to speed, what exactly are some of the concerns that parents may not even know that exist out there?
Well, there's a couple different concerns out there. I mean, we have a lot of different children going on the web more and more these days. Mm-hmm. We have our laptops, we have our cell phones. A lot of people don't really think about those at the time, but they are just like a computer in themselves. They can surf the web, they can text friends and people that they associate with. Mm-hmm. Some of the other things that we're finding is certain websites out there, Facebook even being one of them, they can pull off a website right off the site and not realize that they're even pulling up something that they shouldn't be at. So those are some of the things that parents are running into on a more regular basis. Now, what I would suggest in having these challenges as a parent is being a little more involved in what your kids are going into. Know where the computer is in the house. Right. That's a big one right there.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to ask you. A lot of times parents, including myself, we can use the computer as a babysitter almost. We think that, okay, well, they're on the computer, so they're safe. So you're saying that basically we need to not be so naive about that?
Well, correct. And even a parent myself, my kids, they love to get on the computer. Yeah. And I'm finding that if I don't monitor that more closely, they're going and doing things and spending more time. The kids aren't kids anymore. Yeah. They're not associating with other people as much.
Right. Now, what are some things that people in your profession that you can do to either monitor what's going on or prevent some of the things? I know there's certain software or filter blocks, things like that.
Yeah, there's a couple of them out there. There's one of the softwares that we've been using a lot lately is a software called Kids Watch. And this software is really good, really simple to use, and very easy to install.
Is that something that parents can just sort of download? They need a professional like yourself to come and do it?
It's helpful to have a professional install it.
Okay.
But it can be downloaded if you're fairly good with computers. You can get things set up. But kids these days, especially the older ones, they're getting to a point where they can get through these softwares and kind of route around them.
Yes. So are you guys seeing more of the activities that take place with more of the younger school-age kids or more high school years? Are there any, what's the difference between that?
Well, the kids on the younger level, it's pretty good, and you can really control what they're doing and what kind of websites they're going to. Some of the things we notice it get a little bit harder when they get to be in a teenagers, maybe 14, 15. I had an instance last week where I had a kid that was able to get around my software that I installed.
Wow.
So
wow.
Kids are pretty smart these days.
Yes. What about the issue of online predators? What's going on with that in regards to how we can safely protect our kids?
Well, your kids, unfortunately, they're going to do a lot of things that you don't want them to do. And as a parent, I think we have to intervene a little more and get involved in knowing what our kids are doing. There's software out there that can monitor and track what's being done on the internet. There's one called Spectre Pro. That's another piece of software where you can put on the computer and monitor the chat systems that are going on or chat rooms or or that nature. There are things to monitor that, but really as a parent, you got to spend the time and be more involved in what they're doing on the computer.
How have you seen things shift from where we're at now from maybe let's just say 5 or 10 years ago? How is it different today?
Well, different from, say, you or I growing up as a younger generation. I mean, we didn't have all these things to communicate with. We had a phone where maybe one, maybe two phones in the house, and that's what was used. These days, you have every kid has a phone.
Right.
And on these phones, they can get on the internet, they can surf the web. If you take that phone away from a child, and that's something that they use on a daily basis, it really makes their life end.
Right. You know, you mentioned telephone. Lots of times when we think of the internet safety issues, we think, or at least I think, we automatically go to computers. What about their cell phones? Are these particular software and blocks, are they able to be put on the phones as well?
Correct, yeah. There definitely is. There's software out there that the phone carriers are carrying, and it depends on the kind of phone you have. If you have some of the newer phones, you're able to log on to the phone company's software and block out certain sites or give them time limits on what they can do. So
time limits, you mean the children that have the phones?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you can also lock down how much they spend on the phone with making calls, and you can keep track of who they're in communication with, and that's pretty important as a parent, I would think.
Yeah. How can parents be proactive with supporting our kids in the event that they accidentally go on one of these sites and they see, you know, who knows what? Because I had an incident where my little girl, she loves to go on this particular website. It's the girls, they have like different girl games. But what happened, she left off one single letter and it accidentally took her to a site that was, of course, totally opposite of what we wanted her to be watching. How are parents, you know, how do we go back at that point and just sort of clean up the mess, or what can we do?
Well, there's lots of software out there that can really stop that from happening. A lot of the sites on the internet have ratings, and whether it be a rating of a kid's level or a rating of more of a older generation level. There's Kids Watch is one of the things that can really stop that. In fact, if you install it, it'll ask you the age groups of the children that you're working with.
Okay.
So 13, 14, 12. You know, you can put your age in your child is, and it's at an accepted level of what they need to be looking at.
Awesome. Okay. Well, James, I really appreciate you joining us today. And before we close out, I want to say that here at Parenting to Win, our goal is to equip and to empower parents to be able to go out and be the best that they can be. And so if you could leave us with that one winning piece of advice for parents, what would you say that would be?
I would say that you really need to know where your items or devices are in the house. For example, a computer. It needs to be in an area where there's a lot of traffic, where the parents can kind of keep an eye on it. And also, you really need to take a look at where your kids are bringing their cell phones.
Right.
Some of the things that happen these days are happening without parents even knowing about it at all. They don't even know until something terrible has happened.
Right. So basically just being proactive about it.
Yes.
And also maybe are parents able, would you suggest to even go back and look at the history of where they've been on the computer?
That is a very strong feature of a lot of the items that the kids are using these days. And as a parent, we're buying these items, so we can definitely set them up and have control over them. Now, I'm even thinking of another item at this point. I mean, a lot of our kids are using Xboxes.
Okay.
And that has a great system built in that parents can manage who they're communicating with, or if they're even allowed to communicate with kids.
Through Xbox?
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Xbox Live is what it's called.
So James, if parents want to get more information about you and your company and services that you provide, how can they contact you?
They can actually get us at www.needcomputerhelp.com. And if they can't get a hold of us, it's important that they do get in touch with a professional.
Okay. Until next time, I'm Clorinda McGrady, reminding you that to raise your children to be a champion makes you a winner every time.